Aaron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. More bad news for Scientology's most famous rapist, but not the only one, Danny Masterson. Didn't think it could get any worse for Danny. But it has been reported that being associated with Danny Masterson in any way is so toxic that even his own daughter wants to change her name to get rid of the Masterson. But apparently Danny Masterson is still not yet too toxic for Scientology. Danny Masterson continues to be a Scientologist in good standing, not declared a suppressive person, not expelled. Danny's family is still allowed to freely associate with him, unlike many other Scientologists whose family members have been declared suppressive persons and expelled for things as minor as speaking unkindly about David Miscavige. But go ahead, rape all the Scientology women you want. You're still good with us. That's the message Scientology sends. Okay, so what are we looking at today? This was first reported by TMZ. Bijou Phillips files to drop Masterson from daughter's name. Bijou and Danny now also officially single. Okay. Bijou Phillips is officially cutting her ties with Danny Masterson and her daughter's ties too, especially when it comes to her last name. Bijou just filed to change her 11-year-old's name from Fiona Frances Masterson to Fiona Frances Phillips to scrub any link to her convicted ex. There's a little bit more in the article, but I'm just thinking to myself, it's strange that like Danny Masterson's siblings, who are all in the entertainment industry, there's nothing wrong with them continuing to have Masterson's name, even though they are very visibly and mentally connected in people's minds to Danny Masterson. You've got Chris Masterson, you've got Alana Masterson, and I can't believe the other brother I just totally blanked on the name of the other brother. What, if anyone in the live chat can see it? Oh, I'm not going to be able to let this go. What is Danny Masterson's brothers' names? Jordan Masterson. Yes. Jordan Masterson, Chris Masterson. There's Will Masterson and there's Alana Masterson, all in the entertainment industry and still using the Masterson name. But Danny's daughter, who I don't know that anybody would even know what she looks like or anything, Bijou doesn't want her to have the name. What do you guys think of that? Okay, let's keep going. What else do they have in here? Okay, Bijou was just waiting for a judge to sign off. It's a big move, especially since Bijou stood by Danny through both of his criminal trials and his retrial before finally filing for divorce a week after he got slammed with 30 years to life in prison for 2 counts of forcible rape in 2023. He's currently locked up at North Kern State Prison in Delano, California. Is it Delano? Is it Delano? Nobody knows, guys. Bijou and Danny were married for 11 years after tying the knot in 2011. These days, she's moving on and is dating businessman Jamie Mazur, or however you pronounce that name. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is surprising to me. Do you know Scientologists still don't admit that Danny Masterson is guilty of this crime? Scientology, when I say Scientology, the C organization officials in Scientology who were tasked with investigating and getting to the bottom of the truth of what Danny was originally accused of doing over 20 years ago when the victims were still in Scientology. The Scientology officials who were tasked with doing the investigation verified that Danny really did commit these rapes. The one particular investigation, I should say singular, the one particular investigation that I'm thinking of was the first rape accusation. They determined that he did do it, which is why they arranged for a civil financial settlement at that time between Danny Masterson and the Scientologist victim in this case that I'm referring to. Any ex-Scientologist will tell you that Scientology would never in a million years have allowed for a financial settlement between a Scientologist celebrity and a public Scientologist if they themselves had not determined that this crime really did occur and they needed to button this up and make sure any chance of this becoming a public issue later on was reduced as much as possible. So Scientology themselves verified that this crime occurred. And yet, because of Scientology's policy of never allowing a Scientologist to report another Scientologist to the authorities for any reason whatsoever, no matter what the crime is, it doesn't matter if it's sexual abuse of a child. You are never, as a Scientologist, allowed to report another member to the authorities. So even though Scientology verified he committed that crime at that time, arranged for a financial settlement, they still refused to let anyone involved report the matter to the police. And that is how it came to be that Danny Masterson was not expelled from Scientology for raping, but his victim was expelled from Scientology when she then later did report the rape to the police. That is Scientology. That is what Scientology is. So even though they determined he really did commit that crime back then, Scientology will not acknowledge that Danny Masterson is guilty of the crimes that he has now been convicted of. They will not. Neither will Scientologists. And I think the fact that they will not admit he's actually guilty of these crimes possibly explains why he has still not yet been declared a suppressive person and expelled from Scientology, and why his family members are allowed to associate with him, whereas many other Scientologists are not allowed to associate with their family members who have been expelled from Scientology. Even Scientologists who have personal knowledge of the matter refuse to publicly acknowledge he is in fact guilty of these crimes. That applies to Scientologist and Linkin Park singer Emily Armstrong. When she first was named as the new lead singer for Linkin Park, and there was a lot of kind of explosive coverage in the press about her connections to and support of Danny Masterson, she eventually responded, giving some very sort of kind of a mealy-mouthed, soft distancing without ever actually saying Danny Masterson's name or ever actually acknowledging that she believes his victims. Because what happens there is Emily Armstrong is a Scientologist. She is a diehard, committed, active, second-generation Scientologist. And Danny Masterson's victims are ex-Scientologists, people who have exposed Scientology publicly, people who have publicly departed Scientology. And they are considered suppressive persons by Scientology and Scientologists. So Emily Armstrong, as a diehard dedicated Scientologist, isn't allowed to side with Danny Masterson's victims or acknowledge them or sympathize with them, because that is a crime in Scientology. So what we saw about 6 months ago or a year ago, time flies these days, I can't keep track, is you had Emily Armstrong trying to save her career by trying to distance herself from Danny Masterson and her friendship and support of Danny Masterson, while not actually saying his name and not actually acknowledging his victims. Because just like Scientology won't let you report crimes to the police, they also won't let you show any support for someone who's an ex-Scientologist. So, this is not exactly, groundbreaking news that's being discussed here, but any opportunity that I have to remind the world and tell the world that in Scientology, you don't get expelled for raping people. You get expelled for reporting rapes to the police. Anytime I have an opportunity to put that out to the world, that's an opportunity I'm going to take. And, as long as there are celebrities out there like Linkin Park singer Emily Armstrong, promoting Scientology, supporting Scientology, donating to Scientology, forwarding Scientology's agenda, I'm going to do what little I can to sort of call them out for it and try to put their feet to the fire even a little bit. Okay, let's see. Got one comment here from Valerie Boljak. Wow, I actually caught you live since forever. I haven't seen you in a while, Valerie. Good to see you. Okay, just a short video from me. I'm going to have at least one more before the day is over. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.